Ahoy, swabs! Captain Jeff the Pirate here, at your disservice. And welcome back to Captain Jeff Reviews and Questions Adventure Time. The new season kicked off just this past Monday, with the full show, both segments being brand spanking new. So with that, let's get right into this review. Starting with Wake Up. This episode started off really weird. We'd be back at Prisbo's alternate dimension living place. And we see he'd be hosting a party of sorts. The guest list, there's some people there we don't know, but then there'd be some people we do know. There'd be Death, there'd be Peppermint Butler, there'd be Jake, and for some reason the Lich is there, but he ain't doing anything, he's just not moving at all. Apparently not being able to cause death and destruction is kind of taking the fight out of him. Anyway, Jake has to go back home, so Finn doesn't worry about him. So he returns home and learns that Finn now knows where his real father is, his biological pa. So then both he and Jake go back to see Prisbo. So they ask, where be the Citadel? And Prisbo warns them that the Citadel be a prison. It be there to house criminals that have committed crimes that are far too dastardly, that are interdimensional crimes, galactic crimes, universal crimes. So Finn and Jake figure, hey, he must be the bard in there. So how do they get to this prison? Prisbo says they have to go and find this old man who's sleeping on this island, floating around his place, and bring him back to his place, but do not wake him up. He gives them like these special flashlights to go find the old man. So they after flying around through the space, they come across the island that looks like an upside down duck and find the old man in question. Now they're not supposed to wake up the old man, and for some reason, whenever he stirs or has a nightmare, it looks like this weird, shadowy, evil version of Prisbo comes out of his mouth. And the only way to defeat is with the flashlights. So they return the body back to Prisbo, and he says, that be him. Apparently Prisbo, who is able to do all these alternate reality shifting things, can only be doing that when he's asleep. It's like a tribute to Zelda the Wind Waker. So anyway, if he wakes up, he will be dead until his body goes back to sleep. And of course, that's when the chain of events all go wrong. The plan was, by waking up Prisbo's body, it would be a crime and that would get Finn and Jake sent to the Citadel. But no, the Lich, he wakes up, he grabs the old man and wakes him up, and then he kills Prisbo, and then he kills the old man's physical body. And then suddenly this portal opens, and this giant crystal man imprisons the Lich in a giant crystal and grabs him. He then starts to pull him through the portal. Realizing this may be their only chance, Finn and Jake proceed to jump in after the Lich and the crystal and see where this will be going next. And thus, this concludes part 1 of the new episode. And now we begin part 2 with Escape from the Citadel. The crystal creature has pulled the Lich, Finn and Jake from that dimension into some other dimension. And we find the Citadel. It's a giant floating batch of crystals. Each crystal is guarded by a giant guardian. And on the crystals is where all the prisoners are being held, including now the newest addition, the Lich. Finn and Jake feel that this was perfect punishment for him to be permanently imprisoned on this prism. Ooh, that was a mouthful. The funniest thing was, in the previous episode, Jake got so mad that Prisbo died that he actually hulked out. He buffed up so much he looked like a yellow dog version of the Incredible Hulk. Anyway, so now they begin searching for Finn's human father. And of all the crystals, they pass the Lich, whose crystal for some reason is starting to turn dark. Anyway, they come to a crystal, and there's only one human-looking creature, and he looks like... So this has to probably be Finn's biological father. and his attire makes him kind of look like a wrestler from the WWE. Anyway, then suddenly there be black fire spreading everywhere. The crystals are breaking and melting, and all the criminals are busting out. Only whenever this black stuff touches them, they turn gray and start to follow the command of the Lich. Apparently this was his plan the whole time. To get sent to the Citadel, find criminals, and cause more havoc with the universe. And then suddenly, Finn's father's crystal breaks open and he escapes. So now he is free. So Finn is trying to talk to him, and the man is only kind of paying attention to him. We learn this gentleman, his name is Martin. So then, during the course of trying to escape from the prison, Martin gets an injury. Of course, so does one of the giant crystal guardians. He says that their blood allows them to stay alive and keep healed. So Finn goes and grabs some. Before he puts it on Martin's wounded leg, he asks the question, "Why did ye abandon me in the forest as a baby?" And Martin, for all intents and purposes, can't remember. Either because of how long it's been, or because he's been in that crystal. It's impossible to tell at this time. But anyway, he puts the blood on his leg and it returns to normal. Anyway, Martin's more concerned with just escaping. So, while he's trying to escape, the Lich has come back and is still very powerful. His plan is to take over the universe using the intergalactic criminals. So then, he manages to stun both Finn and Jake. As he's slowly reaching out to take over Finn's soul, Finn has been covered in the Guardian blood and touches the Lich. And the Lich, which is basically a walking skeleton, suddenly starts to grow muscle and flesh, and is like, "Arr!" And thus he breaks his control over him. He then puts some more gunk on him, and the Lich is now writhing in pain. Finn then goes after his father, telling Jake to finish off the Lich. His father is now with like 5 other criminals who are trying to escape through portals. One of which has actually opened to back up to Finn and Jake's home world. So then, as they're trying to escape on like this giant floating piece of crystal, Finn is trying to hold on, trying to keep his father from leaving and answer some more questions. But the strength be too much for him. Even the blade of grass on his arm tries to hold on, but it's no good. It's so powerful that one of the criminals opens a portal and it sucks the fragment away, and it rips off the blade of grass and part of Finn's arm. That's right, it has come to pass. Finn has now finally lost his arm. He falls into the melted crystal ocean, where part of the guardian blood touches his stump where his arm used to be, and now a flower grows. This is from the blade of grass effect. So, Finn lost his father, but in a way they defeated the Lich, because thanks to that healing blood, the Lich is now a very, very, very giant newborn baby of sorts. Starchy, who was operating a train, offers to take the boys back because the portal that opened up to their world somehow brought a train into the crystal dimension. The last thing we see before the episode is Mr. Pig and Tree Trunks. She's contemplating a divorce when suddenly they find that they are the new proud parents of this very giant baby. And that concludes the episode. All things considered, I give this episode a 1.5 thumbs up. Now, it finally passed that Finn lost his arm after so many predictions from previous episodes. And I thought this was a very good episode, and here be me 4 questions about it. And those be me questions. I look forward to seeing how the rest of this new season goes. I look forward to seeing how the new episode will go next week. So I thank you for watching my review and questioning of Adventure Time. Until next time, this be Captain Jeff saying, Arr. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. And be sure to tune in later on in a few days to see Test Subject 1337 do the DLC zone review of Batman Arkham Origins. A Cold, Cold Heart. Arr.